Hi, this is Dave Perry and you're watching Retro Gaming Revival live.
Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is just gone 8 o'clock. It is Retro Gaming Revival live. That intro still tickles me. It still really gets me.
It's fantastic.
It's like supermarket sweep. I love it. Cool. So here we are. We are all here. So we'll just do a quick round of the panel we've got in this evening. So we have Mr. Dorbs.
Evening all.
We have Mr. Triangle Face Tim.
Hello.
We have Blunners.
Oh yeah.
And then we have our man of the hour this evening, Mr. Larry. How are we doing?
Evening.
Hello, you.
Legend.
And how are you this evening, sir? Are we all good?
I am most excellent. Yes, it's fine. Sort of slightly warm evening today.
Yes.
Unless it's I kept the window shut or something. Yeah, yes, it's quite warm tonight.
It is very warm. I must admit, I have to keep the windows shut at the front of our house at the moment because we served an eviction notice on some wasps under having a wasp's nest out the front of our house today. So I'm slightly paranoid that some, yellow bastard's going to come flying through the window. So I'm just gonna sweat. I'm just gonna sweat all night tonight. So we are all good. Excellent. So thank you very much for joining us, Larry. It's really appreciated. We do love getting people on, and especially when we get people like yourself on. This is brilliant.
You're scraping the bottom of the barrel with me, then, aren't you? So.
Definitely
not. No way.
Definitely
no way. No. So we've got a few topics that we like to just sort of throw out there and sort of chat to you about, see how you've sort of come to be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kick things off with our first topic, which we normally ask everybody, which is early gaming memories. So what would you say is your earliest gaming memory? What really sort of drew you into video games?
I think the earliest memory I can remember is my brother's playing Combat with my brother on his Atari VCS, and that's the first sort of main memory I've got of playing games.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of people tend to have a lot of memories of brothers and family and that kind of thing, sort of pulling it all in. And was that something you guys did quite a lot as kids?
Yeah. My brother got it with his sort of early paycheck when he sort of got a job as a teenager and that, and so we played that. But we couldn't afford to buy games. We had to rent them from a local TV repair shop. Always remember that.
Wow.
So yeah, like that. But luckily, Combat come with it, so that's one of the games we used to play all the time.
Yeah. So the Atari was your inroad into gaming.
Yes, I mean he did have a Spectrum beforehand, but he decided to swap it for some army clothing because he really got into army stuff. He never joined the army, just like the clothing. So, yeah.
Amazing. Where did you sort of transition from Atari? What was your sort of natural console transitions from there?
Well, I had an Amstrad before that. I had an Amstrad after the Atari, and then I had a Master System. Got it for Christmas one year, I think. 87, I think. Yes, 87.
Yeah,
and that's probably the first console that was mine.
Yeah. A lot of people do talk very highly of the Master System. It's a system that I have never owned.
No.
I feel really sad. If anyone wants to donate a Master System, just throw it at me. Get the tiny
literally throw it at you.
If it means I can keep it, you can. I always sort of looked at the Master System as kind of...
The big one. Like the Master System 1. Everyone had these twos, and I had like the real ugly looking one. I remember it like a toaster.
Sort of like it's like a really weird Egyptian structure.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, but yeah, that's the one I had, and everyone else had the decent one with old Alex the Kid built in. It's odd. They
I
revamped
never
it.
had one. I never had one either.
No, I always viewed quite a lot of Master System games as being very similar to the Game Gear version. So I always wondered if it was sort of like the home console version of a Game Gear, but people tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, had the adapter, the Game Gear adapter that had like the Master System slot on the back.
Oh, it couldn't have been then. So yeah, Game Gear
No.
games must have been they must have been different then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
played a little bit on a Master System. I had a friend who had one, but it's like when you're that age, like you would have one console and your friends had different ones. I'd have like friends that go visit would have like a SNES, but I'd only ever get to play on the SNES if my family like went and travelled to visit them, and I'd get to go and play on it.
I think that's how certainly with me anyway. I think I've said this before on other streams. That was how I got to experience other consoles. I grew up with Nintendo, and my friend was the Sega kid. So you'd go to his house, you play Sega. Come to my house, you play Nintendo, and occasionally you go around someone's house, and they'd have a BBC Micro, and you'd just be like in awe of the size of the floppy disks, and just thinking,
The big square things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first console was a BBC Micro. I say console. That was the first like exposure I had to it. I remember the first game I remember playing was, I think it was called Tanks, and you would take it in turns. You type a number in. You type in 2 numbers for like the angle of your cannon, and then you type in another angle for the power of the shot, and it would just fire this pixel across the screen and hit like a bit of a mountain that would then get knocked away, and then it'd be the other person's turn, and it would just take it in turns until one of you hit that pixel against the other tank. Imagine like a very, very basic Worms. That was like the earliest back I remember.
very basic Worms.
Yeah, so you couldn't move or anything or select things. It's literally just like number, fire, and it's just trial and error. Just keep on whacking those numbers in, see how you did.
I think that sounds like something I'll get bored of after 2 minutes. I'm bored now. Load something else up.
I've played now, probably be boring, but at the time it was like the first, moving a pixel on the screen by yourself. That was amazing at the time.
Let's see what we've got going on in the chat. 'Cause I know we've got quite a few people in this evening. There's Mr. Pete's Nestastic agreeing you with Combat there, calling it a classic.
Oh, thank you.
Who else have we got in? We've got Retrobait in this evening. Trying to scroll through and see what's going on. Mr. Essex Retro Gamer. Mr. Ryan, the person who all of a sudden a couple of days ago said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Ryan's our
Ryan's
our normal host. So hopefully he's watching from home. Lovely stuff. Right, so moving us swiftly on to our next topic, which is something we've never asked anyone, I don't think, before yet.
Oh,
So this will be a very direct question.
okay.
Do you
What is your
have-
telephone number?
So
What is
maybe-
your
maybe
credit
less-
card number? Yeah.
maybe less invasive
Mother's
than
maiden
that.
name, first pet.
Fairly
Yeah.
less invasive than that, but
Your
possibly
mum's maiden name.
this one will probably be a little bit more divisive, though. Do you have a favourite console?
I think I have got ones that have been preferential to me over the years and that. I think the Super Nintendo and the Xbox 360. I think the games I played the most on. That's one of probably the best memories I have of consoles.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo is definitely up there. I think for a lot of people, it's. I know it's incredibly collectible now as well. You can buy the game on the Mega Drive or buy it on the Super Nintendo, and it seems to be the Super Nintendo one. You can add 20 quid to it for some weird reason, but it's
Comes in a battered old cardboard box as well.
It does. I think that's got to be half the appeal, hasn't it? It's if you manage to find a lovely, pristine cardboard box that's managed to somehow survive 25 years and various house moves. Whereas, Sega had it right with the that Mega Drive cartridge just coming in that nice plastic clamshell.
Pretty much
Yeah.
indestructible Mega Drive box.
Yeah.
What was
Pretty
your
dry.
favourite game? There's a lot of classics on the SNES.
There is. Do you have a favourite game on the Super Nintendo?
I don't know really. I think there's games I played quite a bit. I used to play Saturday Night Slam Masters a ton with friends. I used to love that, especially 4-player. Yeah, 4-player. Now that's completely right. Stuff like Bomberman, things like that. But single player, I can't really think. I think it's probably Super Mario World one I played the most. I never played Metroid at the time. I got to one of the bosses with no health, and I got locked into a save where I had no health to fight the boss, and I couldn't go anywhere. So I just died over and over, and I gave up on it. So,
Oh no.
so I came back to it years later and finally finished it. But yeah, so that really annoyed me with Metroid. I couldn't get any further. I sort of screwed
What about
myself.
Link to the Past?
Pardon?
Zelda. What about Zelda? Link to the Past.
Oh yes, I had that. Yes,
Yeah,
I had that. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yes, I got it from BT's, and it already had save files on it.
BT's,
Yeah.
I remember BT's.
I got it,
Yeah.
Well, it come with save files on it, and I thought that's what it was like with a new game. You always had save files on it, but no, they bloody let somebody play on it first or something.
Phil, disgraceful.
Selling it to me new, bastards.
BT's, that is, I'm going to say that a whole bunch of times this evening. Like, wow, that is a store I have not thought of for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That Saturday Night Slam Masters was an exclusive to BT's as well. That's why it's so rare in the UK. Yeah.
I wonder how much it is on eBay. Let's have a look.
Yeah,
Let's have a look how much it is on eBay.
A power copy is quite expensive.
Yeah.
What's yours, Ollie? Hook, yeah?
I regretted selling Hook. Yeah, I ended up getting Hook on the Super Nintendo for Christmas one year. Just as you do, you'll end up liking the movie when you're a kid, and then your parents, oh, there's a video game to go with it. We'll get you that for Christmas. It's a hard game, but I like the game. But yeah, ended up trading it in so you could get whatever game it was you wanted next. And now to get a copy of Hook cartridge only is like a nice £60 price tag in a box with the manual is a nice £140 price tag. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Even the Japanese import of it is still 50 quid, and you're like, oh god, I'm just gonna play that on emulation, I think, for the rest of my life until I actually get to win the lottery or something.
I had an American copy at the back in the day, so I was quite lucky. Yeah, it's quite frustrating how slow he used to run, old Peter Pan.
It
He
is
so slowly at the beginning, and he builds up the speed.
He does. It's almost like he's got a tar stuck to his shoes, and he just sort of can't quite get off the ground.
Some good boss battles, though. The music is really good.
Yeah, it's
I'm
And
on
boss
eBay.
battles, jumping out of the trees and that.
I'm on eBay looking at Saturday Night Slam Masters. I can only see it in America for $120 plus $60 shipping. So what's that, $180 if you've got to spare $180. What's that? Probably what, 110 quid maybe?
Do they accept kidneys?
Yeah. You might have to pay for
that,
the shipping on those.
Yeah.
I've thought that many a time when you see something on there and you're like, I wonder how much I could get for a kidney.
Yeah.
Maybe I could just sell one of my children into like some sort of labour camp or something. They could sort of pay my debt off or something. Shocking.
Wow.
Sorry, I went a bit dark there. Apologies. I haven't got Ryan here to keep us. Ryan's not here to keep us in check.
Hopefully, Charles Services is watching.
Mr. Daubs, do you have
the ransom or something?
Pulls your gums back over your teeth. Do you have a favourite console, Mr. Daubs? I don't think we've ever asked each of us that question.
John Barnes.
That's his favourite game.
That's my favourite game. Obviously, it's a classic. Everyone knows that.
Trigonometry.
I got to go for the probably the PS2. Just the classic. Because I didn't really get into consoles until I had a CD32, and then I had a PS1. But I was more of an Amiga kid. I just played my Amiga constantly. Didn't have SNES. Didn't have NES. So I'll go for a trusty PS2. I know Essex Retro just commented. There you go. CD32 LOL. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's my favourite. I've got good memories of it, Rob. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm going to go PS2.
That was my first CD player, mate. That was my first CD player.
Wow.
I remember the boomerang controller. I remember it. I sold that when I was younger. I think it was to play my N64. But
you fool!
I still wish I had it.
Yeah.
Mr. Tim.
Big mistake there, mate.
Yeah, you did actually ask me that on my first stream with you when I was a guest.
Did I?
Yeah. So when I first came on as a guest, it was what's your favourite console? It said PS2. So yeah, same for me. I think where it had the DVD player, obviously at the time, now you think like, don't care, it's got a DVD player. But when it first came out, it was not that much more expensive than a DVD player. So if you were planning on buying a DVD player and you got a PS2, the price difference is like, well, I'm paying a little bit more to get new top end games console. So it was just seemed like a no brainer to me at the time. But no, very good games catalog on the PS2, and the fact that it was backwards compatible as well. You can still play all your PS1 games. I think I sold my PS1 to take a bit of the money off as well. and then was able to keep my PS1 collection and carry on playing it. And obviously, because we had memory cards, you take your memory card from PS1, stick it in your PS2, and you don't lose anything. So I just it was a when at the point it came out, I think that was however much I've liked a console, I've never liked a console as much as I liked that console when it came out.
It still is the biggest selling console, isn't it? PS2.
Yeah, it's like 119, I think, million.
Yeah, that's an insane number of consoles.
It's crazy. But, Switch obviously came out in the 90s at the minute, so catching it. You won't catch it, but it's up there.
Yeah, Mr.
Well,
Planets, do you have a favorite?
You do look at that library on the PlayStation 2, and it is pretty good. Like, I wore the lens out on mine day one. I had to go and get the Slim.
Is that you playing Britney's Dance Beat quite a lot, weren't you?
Yeah, I borrowed it from you, so when you want it back, let me.
He's still got it. I'll never get rid of it, mate. Never get rid of it.
Mr. Blunders, do you have a favourite system? I don't think that's ever been asked of yourself.
Do you know what? I would have to say the NES, or maybe even the Game Boy, but no, it'd have to be the NES, just because it was the first one I ever got. It was the first one. My brother, obviously, everyone get it for Christmas because there was 5 of us. It wasn't just mine. It was 3 of us. So there was fights over everything. But yeah, it was. I've still got it now. Now you know who won. But
now I'm an only child. Yes, you know who I am.
The other's been missing for many years.
Saying Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers 1, Mario Brothers 3. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I remember like my old man having to take the controller into work in the 6 weeks holidays, so I couldn't play it. But he didn't know my best mate next door. Yeah, well, my best mate next door, I would just walk around his house, grab his controller, and carry on. So he knows now, doesn't he? Yeah. He knows now, but back then, he just, do you know what I mean? It was. Yeah, I remember him taking it away and I was devastated, but I just got my mate and nicked his one. So yeah, it is such a and then blowing in the cartridges.
Yeah.
What cartridges have I got in here now? So,
I'm sure I read online somewhere that recently all that did was blow the dust further up the cartridge. It didn't get rid of it. It just moved the dust further into the cartridge so more dust could get in at another point.
It's got to be my favourite because that's where it all started. I love all the others. I do love all the others, but like PlayStation 2 and the PS1 and that. But only because the PS1, my brother worked at Blockbuster, and so we had every single game going on a spindle. And do you know what I mean? So it was, but the NES is what started it all. I remember, like, old man, I think one Christmas he bought my brother, I think it was over 55 quid for Star Wars. And and that was everyone. That wasn't just his. That was my present as well. Yeah. So
that Star Wars game is the one where Darth Vader ends up turning into a scorpion, isn't it? When you hit him in the.
That's a Japanese one.
Oh, is it?
We never really got that far in it, mate. We only got a Star Wars one because it was my brother's and just used to get your ass handed to you. It's like Dark Souls, basically, back in the 80s. That was normal gaming, wasn't it?
Amazing. Yeah, it was. I think there's one of my favorite videos of yours, Larry, actually, is the video where you talk about broken games that developers did because they just either ran out of money or they ran out of space on the actual game itself, the storage. So they would just make these games, some of them unbeatable and other ones just notoriously, games in that era just notoriously difficult. But you just couldn't imagine it happening. Well, I say you couldn't imagine it happening now. I think one of the ones you talk about on yours is a PS4 game, but it's a Tony Hawk game, isn't it?
Yeah, Tony Hawk's.
Yeah, so if you don't do that update, you've effectively got a broken game.
Yes, especially since they lost a license to it for a while, and so they couldn't put it out there. So they try and pretend it doesn't exist anymore now. You don't need to buy them. That's why they remade the first 2 games because they're so embarrassed.
Wow,
that's amazing. Yeah, so whenever people say, "Oh, they just don't do that anymore," it's like, they do. I think my favorite console, even though the NES is the one that kicked it off for me, went to Super Nintendo. But I think my favorite, probably just for pure nostalgia, is the N64. That controller changed it for me. I remember lining up for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so in Curry's. When they used to have the display stands, you could stand there and play the game, and you'd line up, and people would just sort of take it in turns to have a go on something. And my parents were doing whatever it was in the other shop, a carpet shop or something ridiculous next door, and you're like, I'm gonna go to Curry's and play Mario 64. Hoping that would be
was GoldenEye day one? I can't remember if it was.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's a couple of years afterwards. That was
a couple of years after, because I remember getting mine, but getting it with the new Mario and just like being blown away by the 3D.
It was, Mario. I got it the Christmas that Lilac Wars came out.
Oh,
So
mate,
I got Mario 64, Lilac Wars, and Blast Corps.
With the Rumble Pack?
With the Rumble Pack in the big box, which is somewhere in the loft. Gives me anxiety thinking I don't know where it is in the loft, but it's somewhere in the loft. Shocking. I'm sure people have been yelling up their favourite consoles in the chat. We've had people agreeing with Dorbs about an Amiga. Yeah, got Mr. Ginger Hippie Gamecube. That is not a bad shout.
So, mate, I've literally just dug mine out of the loft. It is quality.
Yeah.
What, your loft?
Quality loft.
Oh, that's a
proper miserable
floorboard, everything.
Yeah.
Someone there yet when PS2 was out, it was cheaper than
it's actually cheaper, crikey. Yeah.
There we go. So that was
absolute bargain, isn't it? Yeah.
Marketing genius that was then. Right. So moving on from consoles then, Mr. Larry, the next topic we will ask you about is your time on Games World.
Yeah.
Which
time on Games World.
Games World is a it's borderlining, I think, a religion for Dorbs, and Gunners and Ryan, who is hopefully still in the chat. Games World isn't something, unfortunately, that I was exposed to as a kid because we didn't have Sky growing up. It wasn't something I got to experience until much later, when you sort of get to see, there was another 90s game show that isn't Games Master, which I must have watched countless times when it was on, taped it, and then watched it on YouTube about 1 million times as well. So it's quite a journey for me going through Games World because I'm watching it completely new. But yes, so your time on Games World, how did that all start and come about?
Well, I auditioned a number of times to go on the show. I think from the second series onwards, second and third series, I auditioned and failed. But by the time I'd done the fourth series, I got lucky. Probably nobody else turned up. That's why. But no, it might but that's how I got onto it. Just being, just attrition. Just keep going over and over. Hopefully, I'll get lucky sometime.
So what was the audition process then? What did you have to did you have to actually like play some games or anything like that to actually attempt to be on, or did you have to just
you did? Yeah, you did. It changed. The process changed differently for each season or series. I think the first one, I always remember they ask you questions and stuff like that. Well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a games designer, which is probably the most generic thing you could probably say there. And I wonder why they didn't pick me. And the other one was, what's your favourite videator? And I think I said Big Boy Barry.
Yeah. Legend.
Yeah.
So that's what I asked. And I think I can't remember the games I played. I can't remember the games I played for the first season or the second one. I had it in a library in Islington. Actually, I had it in two different there's two libraries in Islington. They've done it the second and third one. But the fourth series, they done it at the place where they filmed the second series of Games World, even though they didn't film it there at all. Opposite the Sarson's factory.
Oh yeah, vinegar thing.
Yeah. So yeah, they had it there. I played Turtles Tournament Fighters and Tekken 3 for audition.
Nice. Yeah.
Who did you play as in Tekken 3?
I can't remember. Probably King or Jack or something.
Yeah, King is called it.
Yeah.
One
of my favourites, Tekken. Definitely one of my favourite games, Tekken.
We're very good at going off on tangents on this. And it's purely because you've mentioned it, and I don't think people talk about this game enough. Turtles Tournament Fighter. I would argue that is up there as one of the best beat 'em ups on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, it's a great game.
It's so good, and it's so different to the Mega Drive one. The Mega Drive one is virtually impossible to get past the first whoever it is you're fighting. But on the Super Nintendo, it's a real magical game that for some reason it just ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's it's got all the sort of good power moves of Street Fighter, but it's Ninja Turtles, which just infinitely makes it cooler to me. So yeah, just going off on a random tangent there, because just don't ever hear people talk about Tournament Fighter.
There's a NES version as well that came out.
There is. I vaguely remember seeing clips of it and it being a bit weird, but I'm gonna have to try and source that now. There you go, Dobbs. Here's your next eBay search: Turtles Tournament Fighter on the NES.
Tournament Fighter. Okay. Bear with.
So with Games World, how far into the competition did you get?
I got kicked out. Well, I won the week because they changed the formats for the 4 series. It was basically they got rid of all the other stuff like reviews and cheat shows and stuff like that and live phone-ins. They got rid of that and they just focused straight on the whole tournament thing. And basically, they had 5 people at the beginning of the week and they whittled them down to 1 by Friday when they played the Videators.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there. So I won in the end. But I didn't get to the grand final. Some random policeman knocked me out by pure luck. So on the scores, and it was the last episode of the series. If he'd have got slightly less than me, I would have gone straight into the grand final. But it wasn't to be, unfortunately. But yes.
Dude.
And did that sort of spur you on to do, carry on doing, the gaming stuff and lead on to what you do now on YouTube? Like I've been on Games World.
I've been on other gaming shows before. I was on Head to Head.
I watched that on your channel yesterday. On Kickoff 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Fight Bull in told me the wrong bloody buttons. That's why I lost on that.
You're so funny on that. It's like, what's your tactics? It's like, just kick the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like football.
What can you say?
No.
I bloody hate kickoff as well. I hate top-down football games as well. I mean, sensible soccer's all right, but top-down ones like kickoff and that, I couldn't stand them. I always prefer like either the FIFA angle or the side-on views as football games. But no, I lost on buttons. That's why I chose Liverpool, because I thought that I heard from friends that was the best team at the time.
I thought you were going to go for Watford because she was like, "Are you a fan of Liverpool?" No, Watford.
Yeah, I'm a Watford. Yeah, I'm a fan in real life, but they're right down the league at the time, sort of in the sticks, down in the jumpers for goalposts leagues they were at the time then.
Like my team now, sadly.
Yeah.
But
I come back a year later and played Rock and Roll Racing, and I won a mountain bike in the end.
Classic.
Wow.
It's one of those, you always get a game randomly that you're freakishly good at for some reason.
Yeah.
And that was my game. Yeah, that was my game. I was like
Amazing.
freakishly good at it. Don't go on, you had a cheat in it. You just hold back from the beginning of the race and just shoot the shit out your opponent. I got them every single time doing that. But
I think I've managed to find a picture from your time on Games World, so I hope you don't mind me firing this up.
So,
there we go.
Yeah.
Showing off the guns. Look at those.
Yes.
Fantastic. Is that Jet the games mistress in the back, or had she gone by that point? It's just a model that looks a little bit like her.
I think they were on I think one of them was one of the mermaids on Games Master. And
nice.
The Atlantis one. But no, that was somebody else, I think.
Brilliant. But no,
I got a turtle update.
Okay.
You can actually buy it if you just want the cart. You're looking, including post, you're looking at $29.99.
Is that for the NES version?
Well, this is SNES. You can only find SNES. But if you want it boxed with the instructions, etc., you're looking at £50. So yeah, I wouldn't pay that.
What about the NES version, though?
Let's have a look for NES, shall we?
That's one of the late entry in the library, isn't it? So that's going to be quite.
NES.
There's a few random NES games. That's going to be an expensive one, isn't it?
There's one from Germany, £125.
Oh.
There's one from Holland for 67 quid with the postage, and there's another one from Germany for £228.50.
Oh,
so I mean that would have
put the 50p on just in case. So.
And
really get that £1 from you, English.
Just round it up. I'd rather they rounded it up. So yeah, 250 odd quid. It's mad, including delivery. Crazy prices.
And that will be like a really, really watered down version of what the Super Nintendo version is as well.
Yeah, some of the characters take up so much memory you can't play as the same. You can't have mirror matches with them. I think the big dinosaur one you can't play him together.
Wow.
So yeah.
Right, I'm going to go going down a rabbit hole of NES Turtles Tournament Fighter this evening. I can feel it already. That's exactly how this is going to happen.
No doubt, SX Retro's got that game guaranteed.
It's quite an oddity because there's not many one-on-one fighting games on the NES, is there? Really?
No, it's definitely not.
Just those knockoff Street Fighter ones, really. You get them on bootlegs.
It's all like the Tenjin carts and stuff. Yes. Right, sticking with the theme sort of Games World, we were really sort of lucky. We had Big Boy Barry, Mr. Alex Very, on a stream with us a couple of months ago now, and that was.
Did he mention me? Did he?
He did, which is going to lead us on to our next topic.
Oh, okay.
So Did
it begin with that bastard?
I don't think it started quite like that.
Oh.
It may have done. But he was. We got onto talking about the character of Big Boy Barry and how it developed and all the different iterations and things that he went through to, well, just as the character. And it was a really good time hearing about it all. And it led us to talk about a character that was never fully realized but was discussed. So we'd very much like to talk to you about the character of Large Boy Larry.
Okay. I think I've heard it was also called Big Boy Benny as well.
Okay.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, prefer that one.
But no, I don't recall it, and I do know they did like me because they were talking about me, but I didn't get too much information from it. So that would have been behind the scenes more about it than me personally. Yeah. But the series got cancelled, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I didn't go anywhere.
Gutted.
But that was a potential character that was kind of being floated around that you were could have become.
I would have loved that. I would have loved that. Yeah. I love winding up Alex as well. So that'd been great doing this. So
yeah, but that was because I think certainly the infamous character of Big Boy Barry for Dorbs is it's almost like a Jesus-like figure for him. I think Dorbs was absolutely.
It's not almost, mate. It's not almost. It is.
Oh, it is a Jesus. Okay, there we go. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
So hearing about this other character.
So I'd have been your Satan then, would I? Is that what
if you were his evil brother? Yeah. Yeah. No,
dirty looks and hissed that on this podcast.
he did mention it, and I said sort of jokey that I was going to write a sort of a mockumentary sitcom with him as an adult, and then that's how he mentioned you. So what I might do to make your dreams come true, Larry, I'm going to cast you as Large Boy Larry.
Okay, I think
how does that make you
feel? If it ever gets made.
Yeah.
Slightly less large now.
Yeah, it can be ironic now.
Yeah, it'd be ironically cool.
Yeah, ironic. Yeah. So I'll get you.
Dorbs's pitch was it was interesting. It was interesting. I think he started enjoying it.
I think he was probably pretending he was enjoying it. He's probably thinking,
"No, you were enjoying it." I think you.
I was loving it.
You started to run with this idea of a sitcom.
Yeah,
I was loving it. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it was.
You don't want to tell everyone your secrets, really, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, they probably know my secrets, my dirty secrets, anyway.
Disclosure agreement.
We'll have to hold that. So I'll if you're interested, if you're available.
Oh yes.
Not that it's ever going to happen, of course, but if a miracle did happen, I'll get you
my
cast.
agent.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool. So the next thing we'd like to talk to you about is your YouTube success.
Oh, okay.
It is.
When did that happen?
But there are, a lot of people sort of always can kind of look back on a particular moment when they either started with YouTube or there's a particular video that kind of, it either goes viral or it gets a lot of attention that kind of pushes their channel sort of up a next gear. So with YouTube, with you, how did it come about? How did you sort of fall into the YouTube world and decide you were going to start making video content?
Well, it just fell in by accident, really. I used to do videos with Wes, the guy I used to be on television with on Game Guru and Game Network and also X League. And after that all went down, we have come up with the idea of how about doing reviews for a mobile phone, the old clamshell ones. Yes, pre-smartphone ones. So, and basically, we spoke to companies like Game and that, where you just enter a number on your phone on the price code, and you can see a review of the game that you're about to buy. So that's quite innovative for that. We spoke to a network called, I think, Channel X or something they were called, and we made a couple for them, and they just kept messing us about over and over. They kept ditching us, asking us to come to meetings and not turning up and stuff like that. So and then they just turned around and said, "Oh, we're doing it with somebody else now." Oh, thanks a lot, mate.
Lovely, brilliant.
Yeah, I know, really unprofessional. So we thought, we'll just stick them on YouTube, the videos, and that's sort of the linchpin of what it got the ball rolling. Wes had done a launch for the PlayStation, no, the Wii launch. The midnight launch in London for the Wii, and that got picked up the interest of Screw Attack, and
nice.
So and they really liked us and that. So we started making videos for that. Stuttering Craig suggested we make how about we do games that weren't ever released in America. So we've done a series called Games Yanks Can't Wank. So basically, so most people are asking, what does that mean?
Yeah,
and you say, do you often masturbate games, stuff like that? So that lasted a while. That done quite well. But one of the videos, it turns out that some of the games did come out in America, so I just changed it to Fact Hunt instead.
Yeah,
and it took off from there, really. And that was also to do with Game Theory. They wanted to have me on their channel at one point. And he started messing me about as well in the end, and he just said, "I'll just put them on your channel in the meantime, and we'll go on from there." And the video just exploded. Got loads of views on my channel.
Yeah.
But I think the video that really pushed me up into the sort of over 100,000 subs was the one you mentioned earlier, the Dickish Developers one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great video, that, and I can absolutely see why that would be one that people would kind of gravitate towards, because it's funny.
Yeah,
and it aside from anything,
bit funny, a bit drama-y and stuff like that.
Yeah,
people love me when I moan about journalists as well. I've got dodgy journalists as well. That done quite well.
Yeah.
So who just you and Wes, or mostly yourself, that creates the video? Because clearly a lot of work goes into them.
Wes
the editing and everything.
Wes is now a psychologist for a living. So he completely ditched it. And also he does he's a wrestler part-time.
Wow, psychologist and wrestler.
Yeah, psychologist wrestling, yes.
Please tell me that his wrestling character is also a psychologist.
No, he's a luchador. He's a luchador.
Oh, okay. Well, luchadors are cool, so let him off.
Yeah. L. Jeff.
He could be a psychologist.
L. Jeff.
Yeah.
L. Jeff.
Yes.
Reminds me, like, in the 80s, it seems that wrestlers didn't get paid much because they always had another job. They're a wrestler and a garbage man, or they're a wrestler and a mountie. Yeah. You can't just be just a wrestler. You have to have a side job, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
A wrestler and a psychologist.
No, he's lucky to get his petrol money paid driving around the country. So he does it. So he's kind of out of it a little bit because he got kicked in the head in one match and forgot he was married for 2 weeks. So that's not a joke.
No.
That's not a joke.
A dangerous pastime, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, somebody, and he literally, you said, where's your wife? And he just said, well, you're messing me about. Don't, I know you're like somebody's trying to prank you. It's completely false.
I always hear the story of after they were one of the big TLC matches. I think Bubba Ray Dudley had taken a really big bump. I can't remember I think I read it in a book or certain documentary, and he was in the back and he kept on saying to Dean, was like, "Oh, is my mum here?" He wanted to see his mum, And it's like, oh, but Mum said she was going to be here, and his mum had died a few years ago, and he'd just forgotten because he'd had this bang on the head. And they kept on telling him his mum had died, and then like a few minutes later, it's like, where's my mum then? And in the end, they just said saying, yeah, she's on her way, mate. She's on her way. And they just left him. It's like, oh, poor guy, just from falling off a ladder and banging his head.
It's painful. He's gonna have to realise that again as well. That's awful.
Yeah.
Of course, took a dark turn, didn't it?
Yeah, sorry to bring the tone down.
Retro gaming and dead mums podcast.
Oh dear. I do apologise.
Shocking. As Tim says, a lot of effort clearly goes into your content. There's, it's not something you just kind of. Maybe it is something you just throw together, but it certainly looks like there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of planning, and there's
I try and I do topics that nobody else has done. That's one of the main things, and I try and do interesting ones that sort of ones that I would find interesting as well. And and that's how I get from there. I'll come up with an interesting topic and then try and find relevant games or subjects to put in that. I mean, some of them I have to sit on for years. So yeah, I mean, there's a video I've got planned about really good games that receive terrible review scores. I've been sitting on that for about 5-6 years. Yeah, so, and stuff like that. But yeah, and some of them I can just write in a day that just comes straight into my head and that.
Wow. And I guess this is almost a bit how long is a piece of string question, I guess, for some of it. But with some of the content in there, you've obviously got to do a lot of capturing, screen captures of the games themselves and this kind of thing. How long would you say, on average, would it take you to produce sort of one of your average videos? I'll say
each segment normally takes just over a day to do, and there's like 5 segments in a video, and then I've got to add the intro as well, create the intro. So there's six segments I'd put. So they take about a day each. That's not including writing as well. That takes longer, sort of research and stuff like that. But yeah, about a day each, just over a day sometimes. What I feel like.
And if you found being regular with your updates or regular with the content updates,
I wish I could be regular. I'd be far more. No, I'm awful with stuff like that. And I've not done too well lately because I've been on a diet and that, and I've not got much energy at the moment. So that's been fighting. And also I've been sorting my life out as well. I've been doing driving lessons as well, so that's got in the way.
Okay. How are you finding driving?
It's good. I'm learning automatic because I can't get my head around the manual at the moment. But I can. I've done it. I've done a couple of lessons with manual, but I'd rather actually learn about the actual driving side rather than just getting too focused on doing a clutch all the time and stuff like that. So I'll go for an automatic license and then come back to a manual.
I think generally when everything goes over to electric anyway, they're automatic go-karts, aren't they, really? So
yeah, I mean, I've got an electric car already. I bought it last year, but couldn't use a bloody thing because of lockdown. So
one thing I struggled with actually was not driving for all of lockdown because I not needed to. And I'm not driven for like a year and a half. So now I'm not overly too keen about getting behind the wheel of a car because I'm not driven for a really long time.
Was that a confidence thing? Or
yeah, pretty much. Just not driven for so because I didn't learn how to drive until I was a bit older. I was in my 30s before I learned how to drive. And then I hadn't been driving that long before lockdown started. So probably just need to do a few drives around the block, I think, just to remember how to drive.
I didn't learn to drive until my wife fell pregnant. That was when I learned to drive. She said, well, she's not going to be able to drive us to the hospital in labour, is she? So I should probably. That
was the same thing for me, actually. I was instructed to pass my test before our first child arrived.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Imagine if you failed, crikey. That would have gone down well, wouldn't it?
Although, funny story, I actually it was not our first child, but our second child, who was born a couple of years later. I'd only recently passed the test then. I went to go drop my wife at the hospital and scratch one of the pillars at the hospital. So we got like a yellow paint scratch down the front of the car.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say it was delivered in the car.
No.
You're trying to drive it.
The promise to drive to the hospital, which I successfully did, but did not ding the car as a result.
Excellent.
Never mind.
Just scrolling through the chat, we've got a few people in there just asking some questions to yourself there, Larry. So if we go with a question from Paul Rhodes, he says, is there anything else you do besides YouTube? Any voice acting or anything you do?
No, not really voice. I mean, I'd like to get into it. I like to get into it. I mean, I always get requests every now and then to do a voice for somebody else's videos and that, and I try and oblige when I've got the time and stuff. But yeah, I would like to look into it. I haven't got anything professional, unfortunately. I might be doing some voices in some games coming out, but that's about it, really.
Oh, nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it for free. I don't want to ask some money because I'm
Yeah.
stupid like that. So.
We've got another question from Retrobate, who has said, "What is Larry's? I'm presuming this is favorite 8-bit micro game and favorite game in any game music of any generation."
I can't think of a favorite 8-bit game. I think maybe Wonder Boy 3 on the Master System. I did enjoy that.
That is
Played that
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonder Boy.
Stuff like that, yeah. Music. Oh, I play music all the time. I mean, I spent ages searching for a decent tune to the beginning of each episode of Fact On. So I'm always looking for good music. So my taste just change every now and then. I always like something with a bit of beat. So I come to it.
And we have a question from Mr. Essex himself asking, "What do you think is more vital to creating good YouTube videos? The good video or the good audio? What would you sacrifice first?"
Oh, it's good audio. You can have absolutely terrible video quality. As long as the audio is all right, people will actually watch it. If you have terrible audio and really good video, people can't stand it. It's just a mental thing with human beings that they can't stand bad audio. So always try and get yourself a decent mic over a decent camera.
Just scrolling through, just in case someone else has asked any more questions in there. I don't want anyone to think I'm singling them out. I don't know how Ryan does this. Sort of chats, scrolls through the chat, manages to keep an eye on. I'm not very good at multitasking.
He's there with the voodoo doll of yourself, Ollie, and he's like twisting his head,
twisting it every time.
twisting that head.
Stabbing pains in my eyes.
There appears to be one here from Eric Downey. Do you plan out fact hunts, or do you somehow manage to discover a ton of information and then see what fits together?
I do that. I've one of the future videos I've got coming out is I've actually had to split it up into 2 because the topics become quite interesting on their own. I think one of the future episodes is one of them was launch day disasters that people have forgotten about. So it's not just talking about Batman Arkham Knight or anymore and stuff like that. Just the well-known ones. Ones from the 8-bit era and stuff like that. Like Epic on the Amiga, that was so bad that stores refused to stock it afterwards because it was so bug riddled and unfinished. So yeah, I'll do a story on that. So I've split up launch day disasters because I got so many topics on it, and into one about basic simple mistakes that completely broke games. And there's quite a few as well.
So I do find it fascinating when you have all these Easter eggs or hidden things in games that people are now discovering. And you'll see videos people have done. It's like there's some weird obscure glitch in the game where you can get into a secret room that you weren't ever supposed to get into, but someone discovers it like 20 years after it's come out. It's just mad. It is really interesting stuff to watch. So I think those sorts of videos do get sought out quite a lot, don't they? And people go and find them because they are generally interesting. They're interesting things to find out about.
I wouldn't say it was a disaster, but I remember my Gamecube when I get it day one, and they were like, "Yeah, the price has dropped," and I was like, "What? What do you want about the price has dropped?" And they were like,
"Should it go up?"
They're like, "Yeah, they've dropped the price on it, so now you can get free games and free controllers if you want for the same price." I was like, "Yeah, I think I'll do that." It was like really odd. So I just remember thinking, "What the hell?" Whereas other ones I've been in and gone, right, where's my Xbox? Like the first one. Here's my receipt. Oh yeah, we haven't managed to source it. What do you mean you haven't managed to source it? Like, so there's my own personal disaster one. But yeah, just remember that going in like, oh yeah, it's cheaper. And I'm like, what do you mean it's cheaper? Yeah, they've dropped it. It hasn't sold as well in America and Japan, so we've dropped the price on it then. Oh god.
That is devastating, though, isn't it? When you go into a store to pick something up and it's not there. I remember that with the PS2. I think we went in and we got there, we had the receipt, and they're like, "Yeah, we haven't got them in stock at the moment," and we were awaiting an email or something to tell us when it was in, because they just weren't hitting the shelves then, weren't they? It was coming in and going straight out. I didn't think we were waiting that long. We probably waited like another week, but I remember that feel of getting there, expecting to walk home with a PS2 under my arm and going home empty-handed. So.
Well, I got one story. This isn't me, by the way.
Yeah,
That means it is.
I swear to God, this isn't me.
Yeah.
But there's someone who I listened to a podcast with them recently, and I think it was the original Xbox when that was released, and they were queuing up outside Curry's, and they're number 4 in the queue, and there's like a few people behind him. He's queuing up, and the woman comes out and says, "Oh, the first 4 you're okay, but everyone else you might as well go. We've only got 4 in stock." And this person turned around and there's a kid, probably about 6-7 years old, with his mum, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, son, we can't get it today." And obviously the kid's a bit upset. And I'm not going to name and shame them, but they are in the chat, and I'm hoping they're going to comment, because I listened to that podcast and I was horrified. I won't say who it is. They know who they are, and I was very, very horrified with those actions. If that was me, I would have given that kid my place. But what can we say? I'll tell you off there. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What, you're telling me if it was an Amiga launch? And then we're like, there you go, Larry.
Push him out of the way. Get out of the way.
That woman was tweeted, was it, over before Christmas that people are pre-ordering PlayStation 5s and her kid couldn't get one. And she's going, "Oh, why? What? It's a kid's machine. Why are you adults pre-ordering it and keeping it?"
I think pretty much all of my games that I've got for my PS5 would definitely rebut that idea that it's a child's game machine.
Yeah.
Sure.
All the kids are into like Dark Souls, aren't they? I can't get enough of Demon Souls.
That Sackboy game you got.
Sorry?
It's that Sackboy game you got.
It is. It's that one game that's definitely for kids. Just before we move on to our next topic, we do just have another question in there from Mr. Snestastic. Mr. Pete, good evening.
Cool.
Pete's a big advocate for a lot of the newer systems that do keep coming out that are sort of linked into retro stuff. So Pete's asking, what are your thoughts on some of the new systems? So things like the Evercade VS, Amico, and the new recently announced Amiga 500 Mini.
Well, I've pre-ordered them all because I'm sad like that. Because I'm incredibly shallow, got nothing else to do in my life, so I have pre-ordered them all. So, no, I like them. I mean, it's a bit annoying that they're still like 720p. I think in this day and age, you could upscale them to 4K or something at least. But no, I like the idea. I think Evercade's quite good because it's a collection of different systems altogether. It's not just remaining exclusive. I like the Amiga 500 Mini. I think that's a good one. About time they actually done that. I was hoping somebody would do an Amstrad Mini beforehand, but nobody gives a shit about the Amstrad in the community, do they?
What's your thoughts on the keyboard? The not working, like on it, Dorbs, it's not going to be.
Yeah, the keyboard won't work.
No,
that's just a kill for me. I'd love that if it would keep working keyboard.
Yeah.
What about
they get one with a they'll probably bring out a Maxi, I'd imagine. If this sells well, I think they're going to bring out a Maxi with a working keyboard.
And what about Steam Deck as well? Because that's been announced recently as well. It's the new Valve Steam Deck.
Have you got that, Larry?
Is that in your pre-order stack?
It is. Even though I'm not too much of a fan of of handheld systems because my eyesight's a bit crap. But it sounds quite good. It sounds quite powerful. So I think you could be able to use it as a mini PC if all else fails. So
yeah. I'm really struggling at the moment because I don't know what I want to get. I want to get a new console. But I've now just got this ever-increasing list of different consoles I could order, and I just can't decide. So I'm just going to have to wait until some of these come out. I can't get them.
That is the best advice. Just pre-order.
Just stick it. Yeah, just stick it on the mortgage or something.
You don't need 2 kidneys. So.
No, exactly. Okay. I would like to have them all eventually, but I think I might have to stagger it a little bit before I get all of them. So I have to decide. I'll wait till everything's out and then see what the reviews are like and see what people think, and then make a decision then.
What's your thoughts on the Amico? You said you've pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I have. I got the wooden one they're doing.
Nice. I like that.
Getting imported.
Yeah, I've been speaking to Tommy quite a bit about it and that, and it does sound quite good. I think a lot of people have got misconceptions of what it's going to be. They think it's going to be like another Ouya or something. So it's, but it's going to be its own sort of micro. It's going to be like a modern retro console with its own series of games. Really, that's what he's aiming for, and he's going for a more family orientated thing rather than just playing it online.
Yeah, I think it looks interesting. I mean, I think I don't think, I would like to eventually have one, but I don't envision myself sat there playing it for hours on end. I think it's kind of thing like you've got a few friends around you, you all pick up a controller, have a little go, and then turn it off again and play something else. I don't think I'm going to sit there and play like a long campaign game like I would on my PlayStation, But I think it'll get, as much attention as some of the other consoles.
Yeah, I think the games aren't going to be as involved for long play as well. I mean, most of the ones he's got on there is just old arcade games and stuff like that. So it's games you'll quickly play for like 5 minutes and that.
And you jump around, don't you, from one to another. Like, I've got a nice arcade cabinet. It's got a Pandora's box. I think I've got a Pandora's box 12 in there, and that's got a few thousand games on it. And I just love going on that, having a few goes on something, and then coming out and going on something else. You don't stick on one game for a really long period of time. You just jump back and forth. I'm quite into my 2D fighting games. So if I've got a friend round, we'll just like, it's got all the King of Fighters games. It's just like pages and pages of all the different King of Fighters, 95, 96, 97, 98. And just, all the different versions of Street Fighter, and just dip in and out.
Good.
Yeah, we were a bit unsure on it. And once we had Tommy in on it, and he actually spoke about what his vision was and everything like that, I pre-ordered one. And I think it'd be right. I just think it'd be a right laugh, especially like Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas would be amazing.
Come on now, what are we doing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other things he told us, which I don't think I'm allowed to say, so I won't. But there's a couple of other things which I think will be brilliant. Like, especially one of them where, I can't say, but I think it'd be hilarious, especially when like if I would come out with. But no, the physical media as well. They showed off. I know like the cardboard stuff is all biodegradable, and I think
it's great for a retro collector, isn't it? Biodegradable boxes.
Yeah.
Where's my bloody box gone? There it is.
There is a smudge on the floor.
A couple of bits of sawdust on the floor.
Yeah.
But the actual, I think the things, I don't think he's actually come out and said what yet, but I think the idea behind it is brilliant. Like,
it's amazing.
He's not at this point as well. Like, do you mean 15, 20 quid? It's really good.
Yeah, it's nice, cheap stuff, and that. He's not going to be like AAA stuff. And they've got some good licenses coming out for like a new new Earthworm Jim game and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Pete again, Snaztastic. He's put a comment in the chat that said, "I love how getting no love for turning you guys on the Amico." I think we're chatting about it, and my first reaction was, "Why would I spend 250 quid on a console to play mobile games? Like it just it's like I could get a Switch for that. Like what's this? What's the deal with this?" And then he came on and chatted to us, didn't he, and turned us onto it. So
he did, yeah.
Excellent. Got a lot of Amico content on his channel as well, so he's got some new stuff coming out.
If you want to know anything, go to his.
So I think it was Ryan that wanted to know a little bit around this next probably very short topic, but the Larry Bundy Jr. teddy bear.
The teddy bear. Oh, the plushie.
Plushie.
Yeah.
Blunder's sent me a link and it was sold out. I was like, have a look at this.
That was me. Yeah,
sold
I
out.
sent the link.
I said, it's Daub. Sorry, it's Daub sent the link. I was like, sold out.
Oh yeah, it was a pre-order thing, just like a one-off thing that you had 28 days to order it, and it was gone forever. But I did buy a couple more.
Let me check eBay. if you want eBay for you.
Let me check eBay.
People do sell them.
Here we go. Let's see if I can bring this in here. We have the technology.
Probably my book more on eBay at the moment, more than anything.
No, I can't see any. Can't see any on there.
There you go. People don't want to part with them. That's why.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There
he is.
Amazing. That's quality.
I did buy a couple myself, so I could sell them with my Patreon as well. So that's something I can do.
Second run.
Yeah. What was the sort of inspiration between creating the plush?
Well, I wanted a physical version of me. That's all. People
That's his
don't-
voodoo doll, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people don't like me on the internet, so give them something. Might as well make some money off it if they're going to stick pins in me, an effigy of me.
No, it's really cool, especially
That's
like because I like the animated character that you've got.
Oh, thank you.
It's just it's really cool, and it translates really well to a plush. So yeah, fingers crossed that they all come out exactly how you want them to, because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, they're done. Everybody's got them now. So
Oh, they're
Well,
done.
not everyone. No, we haven't got. Yeah. If I knew, I would have got one.
We'll have to make one of you, Dorbs, then.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll probably sell one to my mum, and that'll be it.
A token
Got
gesture.
Commodore in
to
your hand.
you. So next topic is gaming collections. I'm presuming this is something that is definitely something that you're into, having collections of said games.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Is there a particular collection or a particular system that is your thing, the thing that you most enjoy collecting for?
I grow in and out of collecting. I must admit. Sometimes I get, you get stuck on a hurdle where either there's something you just can't find for ages or something, or it's so ridiculously expensive it just makes you question carrying on. And that, I mean, if you look up there, there's a PAL Dreamcast collection, but it's only like 50% complete. I've got some of the super rare ones on there, but I sort of stopped. I fell out of interest on there. A couple of months ago, I was collecting Sega STV cartridges.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, but some of them are ridiculous. The shoot 'em ups are ridiculously expensive, like £700 each for them. Luckily, I don't like shoot 'em ups. I like the fighting games on it. So, and they're cheap as chips. Die Hard Arcade is like 30 quid. It's like it's the most popular game, but it's also the cheapest.
Yeah.
Final Fight Revenge, I think that's going to be quite tough to get. I've not ever seen that for sale on eBay. I managed to get Golden Axe, the Duel, recently. That's a lot better than the Saturn version. It's got more frames of animation. So it is a much better version than the Saturn one.
Excellent.
Basically, the STV was like the Neo Geo of the Sega world, really.
Yeah. Excellent. We've sort of spoken to a few people over the last couple of weeks on our stream about the current state of retro game prices and how things are they're silly is the short statement.
Yeah.
I think in the time since we chatted last time, I think Mario 64, the sealed 9.8 flipping one that sold for $1.5 million, has now been topped by a sealed original 1984 or 85, I think it is, Super Mario Brothers with the Nintendo seal, and that was graded 9.8, and that sold for $2 million.
Ridiculous.
So
I just think, what else could you buy for $2 million? Like, what kind of size house? What kind of size house? You could house and a car, like, but you would spend that money on a game cartridge.
Well,
it doesn't make sense to me.
How many families could be happy for their entire lives with that money?
Yeah.
And you want to play it for a bit of bloody plastic?
Yeah.
And it's also common as all hell. There's like 40 million copies out there in the world, so it's not exactly rare. Putting like a bit of plastic around it,
Yeah.
But can you imagine now being that 10-year-old boy getting it for Christmas in the ceiling? No, mum, put it in the loft.
Yeah. I don't want to play this.
There are some kids like that out there.
Can you imagine it? Oh, mate.
Spoiled kid or something. Yeah, I wanted a Sega.
Where I had a Mega Drive as a kid, all the Mega Drive cartridges you mentioned earlier, they're in that like plastic case, aren't they? They keep really well. And I didn't get my Nintendo stuff until later, so I bought a second-hand N64 like well after the launch. And a lot of the games I picked up were all second-hand. It was just cartridges, so I never even had the box. I was just picking up second-hand cartridges and stuff. So I've never had like a pristine boxed games collection, really.
But did they have the name written on the top?
Yeah, it's normally like John on
the top. Or like a sticker.
Yeah. But it's like you were saying about there being thousands of copies of Super Mario Brothers and Mario 64, and yet these games are all right. They're sealed, but I mean, still, it's okay. It's sealed, but you're now seeing this trend of games where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of copies of these games out in the wild, and they are commanding a high price now. And I still haven't quite figured out why that is, because it's not rare. You're not unable to find it, and yet people are still paying through the nose for it. I think the Silent Hill games on the PS2 are now starting to go up in price, like Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. They're 40 quid games. I think Silent Hill 2 sold recently for something like £60 or something ridiculous. You're like, that's always been a £15 game because it's just always available. And the NTSC versions of those games are hundreds of dollars. Like, I haven't quite figured out why there's such a price difference between NTSC version of Silent Hill and the PAL version, but it's just insane.
The PAL version is censored.
Is it?
Yes. Basically,
well,
yes. I'm actually doing a video on that as well. It's the games that was censored because of Columbine.
Yeah.
And that's one of them, yeah. The
Okay.
PAL version of Silent Hill, yes.
Is it great?
I thought he was going to bring it out then.
No, basically, there's a level.
Don't give your video away, I won't.
Oh, okay. You
can't give your video away.
Yeah, well, you can work out which part is being censored because of Columbine.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. But yeah, but in America, I'd imagine that's just the normal version. And yet in America, people are paying. I'm sure there's a YouTube channel watch called Sick Cooper. He's a guy that sort of showed a journey of wanting to open a retro video game store, and showed the whole process. And now he's 4 years in with his video game store, and it's quite a joyous channel to watch actually. And he'll show you all the trade-ins and the various prices for things and how they sell at the moment. And he priced Silent Hill 3, $190 recently. And yet that's the only version that the Americans have ever had. And I can't figure out why is it so expensive? It's a common game, but I don't know. No idea.
I think it's also a combination of being sought after as well as rarity. I mean, there's some incredibly rare games that nobody cares about and they're worth nothing. But also there's also super common games because they're super popular. Everybody, Metal Gear Solid on the Gamecube, that goes for quite a lot of money. I mean, there's loads of copies of it, but since it's so sought after, and that's an American version is suffering from disc rot as well, so it makes it a little bit rarer.
Yeah, well, nobody wants disc rot.
No. But they're re-releasing it soon anyhow, so it's going to be the value is going to crash soon. Yeah. It's going to crash soon and then go up a little bit, like Symphony of the Night that came out on like the Xbox and PlayStation 3 a couple of years ago, and the money went like that. Yeah, and it's slowly building up again when people want the original one.
Yeah. That's a game I've never understood the price on. Like, the game's fine, like it's a good game, but it's nothing like the original Castlevania or Castlevania 4.
No. Oh, I remember CEX selling it for like 130 quid in the late 90s.
Jesus.
So the value has always been quite high on it. So
yeah, CEX are a weird one with their pricing. Sometimes they're on the money. Sometimes you do get a good cheeky bargain in there, and then other times you just think that's never going to sell.
No.
Ever. They had a copy of Lawnmower Man in our local Fairham CEX on the Super Nintendo, sort of out in the front window, and I thought that's a game I do actually would really quite like. And it was 18 quid, and the box was in fairly nice condition. I thought I'm going to leave it, and then you came back a week later, and the cover is now just sun faded, and you're just thinking, no, that's ruined that now. But yeah, they're still charging. What are they charging? Like £600 for a PS5 or £695 for a PS5 in there.
Yeah, disgraceful.
How can they scalp it?
One thing I like about CEX is a challenge where you go in there with £2 and see how many PS2 games you can buy for it.
Yeah,
I love doing that.
We do a £10 one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they sell some really crap ones like Truth or Dare's like 15p.
Yeah.
Britney's Dance Beat.
That's a classic.
Yeah, Dorbs has got this thing for Britney's Dance Beat.
It's only because we played it on the RG 351p, I think it was, and I just can't believe how crap it was and how they brought out a proper game of it, and it just shocked me. And I found it on eBay and bought it. So yeah, I don't know why.
You didn't leave Britney alone then.
No, no,
No.
definitely not.
But yeah, the PS2 is probably one of those systems where you can have a really nice collection of genuinely good games, and they're not expensive. You know,
No.
and CEX is a plethora for it.
CEX, you can get games for like 20p there, and they're
Yeah.
quite decent ones.
Yeah.
Started
I
to
think
see
the
it with-
PS2 era is the era where like I did trade in a lot of stuff, and I do regret getting rid of a lot of it. I think all like my old Mega Drive stuff I just kept, but I think around the time of the PS2 was when they would have lots of offers in games, like you trade in X amount of games and you get this new game at a discounted price. And that was around the time I was like, in college and university and didn't have a lot of disposable income, so I traded my games because I thought, oh, I've completed that. Didn't anticipate that 20 years later I'm going to want to play it again. So did lose a lot of the PS2 games, unfortunately, but I'd like to recollect some of them at some point, I think.
Just heading to CEX, dude. You'll be able to pick most of them up for under a tenner. You'll have your whole collection back. It's just one of those systems that,
Well, there's always one game that you really like that's expensive. Stuff like that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of one of the games that I just thought I'll never see it in the wild, but it was in CEX a little while back. But it was something like 30 quid. And you're like, well, no, I can pick that up on eBay for under 20. But it's just that thrill of seeing something in the wild. Sometimes it's a samurai game. I can't think what it's called now off the top of my head. There was two of them though.
It's not on a issue, is it? On a issue?
No, it's not.
Onimusha.
Let me see if I can find what it was. PS2.
So I remember the first PS2 games I had was Dynasty Warriors 2. Dynasty Warriors series obviously got those run around hack and slash. I remember playing Dynasty Warriors 2 and just really enjoying like having the full army in there, and you're just like if you feel like you're playing one small part of like a big battle that's going on. And those games are quite common now, but back when it first came out, the PS2 it was like the jump from PS1 to PS2. I felt like I was really experiencing something, a bit more epic. Playing that sort of game.
Way of the Samurai. There you go. Way of the Samurai. It looks great. I'd never, until recently, someone was doing it on like a pickup video a few months back. I thought, Christ, that looks really good. Maybe I'll see it in the wild one day. But yeah, 35. I was like, or 30, whatever it was. No, you can pick it up on eBay much, much cheaper. Sticking with topic of games collections, I think this was one from Ryan. Is there a most prized game that you have in your collection? One that you, if you were to be forced to sell everything that you had in terms of your game collection, is there one that you would just retain, whether that be for value or nostalgia?
I can't think of anything really. I mean, I've got a gold DuckTales cart, and there's only 75 ever made with a PAL version.
Wow.
Wow.
75.
Jesus.
75, yeah. Gold. They re-released when they re-released the game. They've done a remake of it. Capcom gave out NES copies in gold, 75 PAL and 75 NTSC.
Jesus.
So I got one of them.
So
yeah, I got thinking for some. I got a copy of Snatcher. I got about 2 or 3 copies of Snatcher somewhere.
Yeah.
They go. Even the bootlegs, reproductions go for 100 quid now of Snatcher. It's so sought after.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. No, I don't know. I'll just buy the cheap stuff normally because that's it's normally the most fun. I mean, I got some Amstrad GX 4000 games. They're quite expensive nowadays. I've got a couple of them. That Mystique, that's quite a rare one now. It's like £350 and stuff like that. But I almost bought a copy of Chase HQ2. I found a guy who had it, and he wanted £1,000 for it, but I didn't have £1,000 at the time.
God, £1,000. Jesus.
I know, and there's only 2 known copies in existence.
Wow.
Christ.
So, yeah,
that's when collecting hits that next level, isn't it? That moves
this
it.
is about 10 years ago as well, yeah. But yeah,
Wow.
I didn't have a grand back then, so
yeah, that moves it into a very high gear. Does anybody else have a game in their collection that they absolutely would not part with for either monetary reasons or because you just love it because it's your game?
Zelda 1 and 2 and NES.
You've got the Famicom disc versions of.
Oh yeah, I've got the disc version, the Famicom disc version. But yeah, them 2 boxed are just mint. Oh, I remember like getting them, and I just literally, like I said, played it a couple of times, and just because it was so hard, I just put it in the loft and forgot about it, and then pulled out a few years ago, and I was like, I better put these in cases.
Yeah, get protected.
Yeah,
I think I actually did a video response to one of Essex Retro's community questions on what would you keep in your collection, and my one was my copy of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, mostly because it was a gift from my nan, and I was just amazed because my nan had no idea about computer games and things like that, and I'd always get fairly obscure presents from my nan at Christmas. I think she always was trying to, get me something she thought I would like, but I often got some odd things from my nan. I remember one year she got me a Christmas card which had Take That on it, and she was like, "Oh, I'm really cool, Nan." I was like, "Oh, thanks, Nan. That's amazing." It's like, wasn't really into Take That. I was probably more into like Green Day and Blink-182 and Korn and stuff like that. And she got me a Take That Christmas card. But yeah, one year she gets me this present, and it was Zelda Link's Awakening. And I was like, "How did you know to get me this? How did you even know that I had a Game Boy or what a Game Boy is?" So I was just amazed that she got me like a cool game that I really enjoy playing. So yeah, that's my favorite cartridge, I think, just because it was a gift from my nan, and I was just amazed that she figured out to get me a computer game for Christmas.
Yeah, bless her. Yeah, I don't know, because I sold all my PlayStation collection years and years and years ago, and just I've regretted it ever since. So I don't think I'll get rid of anything.
That Mega Drive collection you just picked up, mate.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that
collection there.
Yeah, I got that for a bargain.
1, 2, 3, and then
yeah.
You've got to do the Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 combo and play through that. That's my all-time favorite Mega Drive game, is Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. The combo, that's absolutely brilliant game. Love playing that.
Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah.
I know Street Racer 3 is there, and that's probably 100 quid on eBay, I think. But
it's
your version
I can't
would
be more.
Oh, really?
It's
I
rare.
can't see,
It's rare to see it with the manual, but yours comes with the manual and it's in nice nick.
Yeah. I just having sold a collection, I don't think I can sell anything. I've got loads of boxed Amiga games that I just can't face getting rid of at all. So yeah, probably if I put a gun to my head and I'd say no, I just can't get rid of me Amiga stuff, because that's what I bought, and I love playing the Amiga back in the day.
What about John Bond?
Get rid of them.
Was that games you bought back in the day as well? Or
yeah, obviously, to be fair, 99% of my Amiga collection was not original, shall we say?
Oh, everybody done that.
Yeah. Are they going to come after me 30 years later? I don't know.
It's like demo discs. You just pull the label off so you can copy your mate's copy of Street Fighter onto. Yeah.
Put X copy in there. Get that done. Yeah. But no, I've probably got about maybe 20 boxed Amiga games that I originally bought when I was a kid. So I can't get rid of those. Most of them are football ones. I think Simon the Sorcerer's there. Flight of the Amazon Queen. No, Revenge. No, definitely not. But yeah, I can't get rid of them. I just can't. It's too much sentimental value for me.
Yeah,
it's far too much.
Yeah.
What's yours, Ollie?
I think just looking, because most of my stuff's in the loft, but the stuff that I genuinely enjoy seeing, I've brought down. It would probably be either my copy of Mario 64 on the N64, just because that is one of my favorite games of all time. And that is pretty much all my N64 stuff is the stuff I had as a kid, and my dad was always meticulous about keeping boxes, so I am quite lucky in that most of my boxes are in good nick. Either that or my copy of Ocarina of Time as well. Again, that was one of the first games that I remember plowing hours and hours and hours into and just losing myself. It was before I'd played Final Fantasy VII, which then took over as the game that I put the most amount of time into and fell in love with. But so yeah, I'd probably say either Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time. Just couldn't part with either of those. I
remember when Ocarina came out, I managed to get it at Christmas, but it was literally just like rocking or shit. You couldn't get it anywhere. It was like, I remember everyone trying to buy it, and I was like, yes. I imagine that was all like every year at Christmas. My mum had to get me a game. Most of the times, after she'd wrapped it, I just like Stanley knifed around it and managed to crack it open and stick it back just before Christmas without her finding out. But yeah, I'll tell you, that game was amazing.
It still is. I can see I think it is still the highest rated video game on Metacritic. I'm sure Ocarina of Time is still considered the best rated video game.
remember you saying you're at your Mario 64. Actually, I just recently been putting some of mine back in new cases and that, and that was like probably the worst. I got it out and it was just like a crumpled mess, and I'm like, no, what's going on there?
3 million sales for you then.
Yeah.
The thing is literally, I've like managed to like crumple it into the case where it's like, oh look, it looks all right in the plastic case.
Yeah, it does. Gives it that shine, doesn't it? It takes away the creasing.
I'm just devastated.
Have you ever tried ironing the boxes?
No, I'd put a burn if it was me.
No. What you do is you put a t-shirt over the top of them and then iron them, so the heat doesn't go directly onto them, and that will flatten. I mean, you'll never get the creases at 100%, but it will flatten it and make it pretty much presentable. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, you iron it with a t-shirt over the top.
I'm sort of looking at a few boxes here right now, thinking, do you know what? I'm going to fucking do that after this. I think I'm going to see if we still have it. See if we still have an iron and give that a go.
I mean, you could just press it between a couple of heavy books and stuff like that. That helps as well. But
yeah,
the heat does it as well.
Excellent. I've done the pressing with comic books before. I bought a comic book on eBay which had like some sort of creasing on the cover, and it knocked the value down horrendously. And I thought, no, I'm going to get it anyway. And just put it between two of my wife's next catalogs and just left it there for about a month. Came out and I was like,
shit, put it between my wife's legs. I thought you said then.
I did the weekends.
Don't know what to come back with for that. Really, I was trying to think of something witty and just genuinely can't. So I won't. I'm going to divert from that. Divert round. Right, before we look to finish up and have a quick scroll through the chat and see if anyone else has put any questions in there that I've missed, because like I say, I'm not good at this multitasking thing. We're going to have a go at doing the giveaway that we'd done on our Facebook page, which people had entered, which was to win. Let's see if I can make this go big screen. How do I do this?
Big screen.
Big screen.
Like the cinema.
Oops, somebody's ended it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. I thought I had all off for a brief minute.
Did you? You're joking.
Left the chat.
There we go. There we go. So people had been entering to win a beautiful Sonic the Hedgehog pop. Look at that. It makes it look like his feet are moving really fast. Look at that.
Wow, lovely. Beautiful.
There we go. So all people had to do was chuck in the chat their favorite Sonic level and their favorite Sonic boss. And let's see if I can share.
What would yours be, Larry? What would your level and boss be?
I think my favorite boss is the first boss in Sonic CD, the big vogue. I just love the music to it more than anything. That's sort of memories and stuff. But I can't remember. I don't know. So I think some of the first levels like Green Hill and stuff like that, because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
I think the music is just great in those games as well, isn't it? I think the soundtracks are fantastic. I think what favourite soundtrack for that is probably the Flying Battery Zone on a Sonic. Was that? No, that was in Sonic and Knuckles. I think Flying Battery. You used to always get that.
Oh yeah, that's some fantastic tracks in Sonic 3 and that Hydro City level. That's a really good one. Yeah.
I don't think there is a bad piece of music in Sonic, actually.
Just thinking back probably fair thing to say.
To most levels.
The snow level is actually a proper song that they reused.
Because I saw Michael Jackson did a lot of the music, didn't he? For was it 3? I heard that Michael Jackson did loads of music for Sonic 3, but then when he heard it, he didn't like the 32-bit capability of the Mega Drive. Didn't like the music, how it sounded, and he let them use the music, but didn't want to be credited. And he came out years later that he wrote the music for Sonic 3.
Wow.
But it wasn't the original music. The music in the PC version is the original Sonic 3 music. Michael Jackson come along halfway through development and put the music in.
Okay.
So his is the new music, not the original.
Right. There you go.
Amazing. And the music you get when he plugs Sonic 3 and Knuckles in, because it replaces his music, that's the original music in the game. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
There we go. See,
but look for the song "Hard Times" by the Jetsons on YouTube. That's the snow level music. Hard Times by the Jetsons. Yeah, spelled with Z. Jetsons. Yeah.
Jetsons.
All the cool bands spell their names with Zs.
Oh yes.
ZZ Top. Yeah.
Of course they do. Right. Let's see whose name pops up on this. So hopefully this will.
It's the randomizer win.
Spin that wheel.
It is
Oh, is it going to go over? Hey.
Christopher
Yeah.
Eddie.
Eddie,
Lovely.
we have hot dog. We have a wiener.
Excellent. So I shall get in touch.
Oh, poor old Brett. I bet he's going, oh, no.
It is. That is close, isn't it? I mean, that
He want to
is-
have a vote. He's going to say, I
Yeah.
want to have a vote. It's not fair.
He's
That
probably
is-
smacking his monitor now, trying to knock it up. Isn't he?
Yeah.
that is
Trying to give it
close.
a nudge.
I shall get in
When you're
touch
at the,
with Chris. Congratulations,
2p
Chris.
machines as well, when you nudge them.
Yeah.
Or just whenever you say that, all I think of is that episode of Mr. Bean that they filmed down at Portsmouth Southsea Pier, where he just runs into the side of the machine in the end. And that kid just walks off with a t-shirt for the 2p's. Tangents all over the place. Brilliant. I think we have come to the end of our questions for you, Larry. It's been an
Oh,
absolute pleasure to have you on.
Amazing,
And
yeah.
Yeah,
for you to find
indeed.
time to speak to us. We appreciate
quite
that.
all right. Yeah, thank you for
Lots of
having me.
people, lots of people are very busy with all the things they've got going on. So no, it is greatly appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
I think from reading through the chat, lots of people have been enjoying listening to you as well. Lots of people
Oh,
in
thank
the
you.
chat.
No, I don't like that guy. Don't ever want to go.
Let me quickly find your YouTube channel, which I can stick in there. Most people watching this will know your YouTube channel anyway, but for those that don't, we
How
can-
I pity them.
I was going to ask, actually, you mentioned briefly earlier that you were looking to do some stuff for the game theorist. What was it you were looking to do with that
Well,
channel?
that was it. Fact
Was that Fact Hunt? Oh, okay, so Fact Hunt
Yeah.
was then actually your own thing now. So
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah.
I liked your video you did about you mentioned scalpers, and
Oh yes. Yeah.
you called them, is it dog turds wrapped in skin?
Yeah.
I think
Dog
that's what you
turds
called
wrapped
them.
in human skin.
That,
Yeah.
literally, I spat my tea out when listening to that. Absolutely classic.
So there we go.
Parasites, scumbags.
Yeah, scumbags. Yeah.
For anyone in the chat
Yeah.
that isn't so already subscribed to Larry's channel, there's an absolute plethora of content there. All of it is really good
Yeah,
fun.
great
Amazing
content. It is really good.
Wonderful
Yes, and,
clickbaity thumbnails there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with a good clickbaity thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely not.
Always either that or have a picture of your face like you're having a stroke or something like that in the corner, because that always gets the clicks.
But no, it's been really, really wonderful to speak to you tonight, Larry. Really
Amazing.
appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you. Yeah, likewise.
And
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
hopefully at some point down the future we'll have you back on there. I'm sure there'll be something that we can tempt you back with, and more
Yeah, I'd love
more
to have you back.
random stuff.
Somebody cancels and you need somebody else at the last minute or something.
We'll bring you back on when Ryan's posted, because he does a much
Ryan,
better job of being able
gutted.
to.
He was devastated. He's missed today. He's gutted.
Oh,
But he does a much better job of being able to navigate questions, navigate the chat, and all that kind of stuff than me. I'm just sort of looking at one thing, thinking, "Oh shit, I've not paid attention to what's going on here."
Yeah, I like being able to see people. So I put things on full screen, but then I don't see the chat, and then I have to keep flickering back and forth. Think, what's people been saying in the chat? But then I can't see you guys very well. It's just small.
oh. You want to be cool and get a second monitor.
No, that's it. Yeah, I should know really.
So we've got a local person in the chat, Pompey Games Room.
Ooh.
Local to us there, Ollie.
Pompey Games.
He's got a nice channel as well. Actually, I've been checking
Yeah.
out some of his pickup videos.
There we
Pompey
go.
local.
Someone else for us to be checking out.
Yeah, I've
Right.
been subbed to him for quite a while actually, but yeah.
All right, nice.
Wow, excellent.
Is there any other things that you have? And do you have any sort of streaming channels or anything else you'd like to plug for people just before we disappear? No. There we go. All on YouTube.
I got a book on Amazon, and it's on sale every now and then, so you might want to get that. It's a fact hunt book, and it's great if you've got a wobbly table or something. So,
Excellent.
Brilliant.
or if you need to flatten broken boxes, NES boxes,
Broken.
like
And then iron them as well.
yeah.
Perfect.
Put my book in the microwave for 5 minutes and then put it on top of your crushed NES boxes.
Perfect. Right. Well, thank you again, Larry, for coming on this evening. Greatly appreciated.
Amazing.
Hope everyone in the chat has enjoyed themselves as well. And yeah, don't forget to head on over to Retro Gaming Revival's Facebook page, get that like button going, and we shall see you all on the next one.
Should we
Take it easy.
announce? Should we announce who's coming on next?
Oh yeah, we've got announcements.
Do we have
So,
announcements? See,
we can
We'll
announce
go
our
for
next guest, I think. Yeah, next week, 8 o'clock on the 18th, it's going to be the wrestling special, the best wrestling game pre 2001.
Yeah.
I think there's 9 finalists. If I'm right,
Yeah.
is there 9 finalists? Bit of controversy over one of them.
There has been some controversy over
There's been some
what's going to make the cut.
arguments behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, so that's going to be with Big Boy Barry. He's going to be coming back next week. So
coming back.
really looking
Yes.
forward to that. Obviously, we mentioned we've had a little chinwag with you as well, Larry. So
Tell him I said he's a bastard.
okay, right, I'll tell you what, we'll clip that.
Make sure
and
it
we'll
comes
play
up.
that
Yeah.
we'll clip it and play it next week. So,
There you go.
but no, so yeah, next week, Big Boy Barry's going to make a triumphant return, like Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8 when he comes running down. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be good. But no, thanks, Larry. It's been amazing.
Lovely. Oh, thank you.
Absolutely phenomenal.
right. We shall see you all then next week for our wrestling special.
Yeah. Good
Wrestling
night.
special.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Right.